That was me.
That's okay. I learned this trick from Johnny and it works good till your strap drops your guitar on the floor. I don't need this. Yep. You ready? Yep. Hello, test one. That sounds good enough. 1971, I graduated from high school at Hammond Gavitt. And
That's right. That's right.
and there was no internet and no cell phones and not a lot to do other than get in trouble. And the federal government let me know I had a 2-digit draft number, so I just went ahead and decided to sign up and become an airborne ranger. And so they let me do that, and then rather than sending me off to Vietnam, they sent me to Europe to guard the East German border, which has nothing to do with being an airborne ranger. And most of the time, I was 18, young kid. Most of the time we sat in the radar tower at night, and the East Germans would shoot across the border at us, so we had big thick walls in the tower, so we would sit down behind the walls and hope they didn't hit the radars and knock them over. And that was pretty much how I spent the first 6 months of my military career. Once they got me to Germany, they were sitting there getting shot at across the border. They wouldn't let us shoot back. So it was a little stressful. So whenever I could, I'd get a weekend pass and go downtown to Fulda, a little town not far from where we were at the border station. And I was in there one night, and there was a bar lined up along the wall, and the booths went down the wall, and there was a dance floor down the middle of the floor. Of course, I wasn't dancing. Musicians can't dance. And, I don't know if it's because we never got a chance to get out and try, but musicians can't dance. But there was a girl sitting at the bar, and she was crying. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go buy her a drink and cheer her up. So I went and I bought her a drink, and we sat and talked for a while. And I found out her name was Maria Moeller. And so we decided we'd go out and get some fresh air, and she had this old beat up VW, little bugs. And we'd been talking, she's talking about how her boyfriend had left her and she was brokenhearted. And we're flying through the hills of Fulda, and she's talking about how depressed she is and how she just wishes she could die. So I just mentioned, if you're gonna drive off the cliff, pull over and let me out first. And thankfully she didn't drive, but she didn't pull over. And the next 6 months I spent a lot of time with Maria. And I was talking to Mark earlier when I came in. I don't recall, I'm sure we must have, but I don't recall ever seeing her in the daytime. I remember all our nights out in the clubs and restaurants and dancing. Even though I couldn't dance, I gave it a shot. And but I don't remember what she did for a living or anything about her. But I remember there was these 2 young teenage people from opposite parts of the world who we thought we were broken. And we were trying to lift each other up. And after 6 months, it was time for me to, my tour on the border was over, and I went back to Mainz. to my station, which was at the south of Germany, and this was in the north. And I thought about what I was gonna do, because I was off to see the world. I was 18 years old. I was off to see the world, and I did later. But she came to the barracks looking for me. And the gate guard called up to the barracks I was in. And I went down to the phone and I told him, tell her I went back to the United States. And I didn't do that out of cruelty. I did it out of the realization that we weren't broken. We were two young fledglings who had wandered away from the nest. And we were trying to lift each other up and get to an unclouded sky. And we weren't going to be able to do that because I didn't belong in her world and she didn't belong in mine. And the only way that we would learn how to fly was not by jumping off and falling down, because we couldn't lift each other up. The only way we were going to learn how to fly was to spread our wings and leap up at the sky. And after all these years, it's you know, that was a pivotal moment in my youth when I think I matured in that moment. I got a realization about myself as well as her. And this song is called Looking at Her. Like a freedom bird, she flies overhead. Like an eagle's word, she dies all alone. She fills me with her lies when I've bled, and she fills me with her eyes when I'm stoned. Looking at herself, she takes me off my shelf. She holds me with comfort and a smile. Yes, she loves me, I'm her lover, and there isn't any other lover for a while. She flies like an eagle when she flies. She's just a tiny sparrow in disguise. She flies like an eagle when she flies. Nobody ever sees the tears she cries. Looking at herself, she takes me off my shelf. She holds comfort and a smile. She loves me, I'm her lover. There isn't any other lover for a while. Should she ever choose you for a night, don't expect to see her in the morning light. She flies like an eagle in the heights. She's just a tiny sparrow when she lights. She flies like an eagle when she flies. Nobody ever sees the tears she cries. She flies like an eagle when she flies. Nobody ever feels the pain she hides. Nobody ever sees the tears she cries. Nobody's ever with her when she dies. Thank you. Thank you.
Before I step down, you prepped, or you were before Hank Williams Jr.? You played before him, right?
Not Hank, oh, yes, Hank Jr., yes, yeah.
So, did you ever talk to the guy?
Yes,
Okay, one Hank Williams Jr. story.
okay. Well, we were at the Holiday Star in Maryville, and it's gone now, they scraped it off. And they're putting in hotels or something, I don't know. But it was almost time for us to go on, and I couldn't find our lead guitar player, Chuck. And Chuck was the lead guitar player, his brother Ron was the piano player, and myself and I played drums with that band. And the fellow who was our bass player is now a detective in the Hammond Police Force. But so I went looking for Chuck. I couldn't find him. And it was we had to get on stage, and somebody told me he's back there with Hank. So I went back in Hank's dressing room, and there's Chuck and Hank with a bottle of Jack Daniels on the table. And I'm like, Chuck, it's time to go on stage. So I got him on stage, and we made it through our set. I won't mention that by the time Hank got on stage, he'd finished the bottle and he could barely stand up.